Do I know why Good Friday is?
I don't know why Good Friday is
I'm gonna
called
say
Good
no.
Friday.
No. No, I don't.
I always thought Good Friday was it was good because Jesus died for our sins and he was taking all our sins up with us, but I wouldn't be able to tell you the exact reason for it.
Nope.
Honestly, I don't know why.
Good Friday. What do you know about Good Friday? It's the day that Jesus died. So it's a bit odd to call it Good Friday, right? The Oxford English Dictionary states that good in this context refers to a day or season observed as holy by the church. Hence the greeting Good Tide at Christmas or Good Friday at Easter. But also Good Friday is about things being upside down, seeing things for how they really are. Good Friday is about having a clear perspective on our world, ourselves, and Jesus. When I was 17, I hadn't ever had to wear glasses before. Things had been getting blurrier and blurrier. Then in one of my classes, I was sat at the back and I realized I was really having to squint to see the board. I went to the opticians and got my new glasses. I remember walking out of the opticians and everything seemed to be crisp, almost too clear. I could see individual leaves on trees, number plates, people's faces more than 2 feet away. I must have looked like a nutter walking around. It was almost like I'd seen true reality of the world for the first time in a long time. And that is what Good Friday does. It brings into almost intense clarity what is true, what the reality of the world is. There's so much confusion in our world at the moment, so much blurriness, so much subjective truth. Yet Good Friday is a moment in history which cuts through that confusion to bring clarity, to bring truth. We see that clarity come to light on Good Friday through a conversation and a crown. We'll speak about the crown in a moment, but first, the conversation. A while ago, I was playing Articulate with some friends and someone had the person category, where they were trying to describe a famous person. They said, he's the kind of inventor of yoga, that type of thing. It's all to do with stretching. After lots of guessing, the timer went off and we all said, who invented yoga? A little annoyed, he said, no, it was the inventor of Pilates, Pontius Pilates. Half the room laughed and half the room didn't know what was going on. The conversation on Good Friday, which brought truth and clarity, was between Jesus and Pontius Pilate, who was the Roman governor of Judea and who Jesus was tried by. Listen in on their conversation for a brief moment. Pilate says to Jesus, your own people and chief priests handed you over to me. What is it that you've done? And Jesus said, my kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest by the Jewish leaders. But now my kingdom is from another place. You are a king then, said Pilate. And Jesus answered, you say that I'm a king. In fact, the reason I was born and came into the world is to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me. What is truth? Retorted Pilate. What is truth? It's a question that echoes through the ages. It's a live question that our culture is wrestling with in lots of ways. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He said to Pilate that he was born and sent to the world to testify to the truth. This short conversation sharpens our focus. Jesus is saying there is such a thing as truth. Not everything is subjective. That removes some of the blurriness of our culture's understanding of truth. Jesus came to bear witness to the truth, that God is alive and he loves this broken world, that he loves broken people like me and like you. It's almost as if Jesus came to give you and I the ability to see truth, to see reality, to have those glasses that show what is really in front of us. The problem is we're all too often don't want to see the reality of our world or of our own lives. We'd rather live in the greyness of Pilate's statement. What is truth? Jesus is saying, I am truth. Follow me, my ways, my model, which leads to life. The conversation brings clarity, but so does the crown. You see, if Jesus is the King of all things, that means we are not. And that is something that we find difficult. The whole story of humanity is that we want to wear crown. We want to be in control. I find it difficult even letting my 3-year-old son do a sticker book. If it's a picture of a farmyard, he's going wild, he's sticking cows on top of tractors, pigs are in ponds, and I'm stressed. How much more do we find it hard to relinquish control of our lives? Good Friday brings into stark reality the darkness of our world and of our hearts. Jesus brings an uncomfortable clarity to the reality of our lives. It's why Jesus elicits such a strong reaction and still does to this day. John Stott puts it like this in his book, Basic Christianity. People who actually met the real Jesus reacted extremely, often in 3 ways. They either hated him and wanted to destroy him, they were scared of him and wanted to run from him, or they knelt and laid their whole lives down at his feet. John Stott says, there is no other rational response. What is your response to clarity and truth that Jesus brings? On Good Friday, Jesus, the Son of God, the King of the universe, was led to his death. Jesus was life, and we sentenced him to death. Jesus was light, and we sentenced him to darkness. The soldiers mocked him, flogged him, and gave him a crown. The one man who should wear a crown more beautiful than any king or queen was given a crown of thorns that cut into his brow, a crown of suffering for our sake. As T.S. Eliot says, again, in spite of that, we call this Friday good. Because even though we want to dilute the truth and devalue Jesus' crown, God still loves me and you, and he can turn all things for good. He can even turn death to life. As Charles Williams, the poet, wrote, the strong hands of God twisted the crown of thorns into a crown of glory, and in such hands we are safe. Good Friday is about the reality of our lives, our world, and what Jesus has done. We can't hide behind the blurriness and confusion of the world. Good Friday poses an uncomfortable question for every human being. Is Jesus truth, and is he the King? If he is, then we need to decide, will we try to kill him, run from him, or come to him with our whole lives? This Easter, take time to decide what your response is to Jesus, so that you too can call this Friday good.